civil rights movement started in the 1950s in reaction to segregation in the Jim Crow South. Since the end of slavery in 1863, African Americans have been trying to gain equal rights. Yet black folks, nearly 100 years later, still suffered from segregation, oppression, and racism. During those 100 years, people had been trying to find the best way to organize black Americans to find justice and freedom. Some of the people that you may have heard about that fought for African American freedom during this time include Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois, Malcolm X, and Dr. Martin Luther King. They all demonstrated their dedication to a one-leader style.
Someone who you may not hear about daily is Ella Baker. Ella Baker is a kind of leader that believes everyone can include an idea individually and make sure that the organization makes an idea that everyone can agree on.
Ella Baker's legacy is that the grassroots approach, as opposed to a single-man leadership style, is the best way to fight for African American justice and justice in general. In this way, Baker offers a more efficient and strategic way to organize people than the single-man leadership style of others.
Ella Jo Baker was born in North Carolina on December 13, 1903. By listening to her grandmother about life in slavery, she learned a lot about the struggles of African Americans. Her grandmother's pride influenced Baker throughout her life.
When Ella Baker was a young adult, she studied at Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina. As a college student, she debated on school policies that she thought were unfair. After graduating in 1927, she moved to New York City and started joining social activist organizations.
The Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC, which was founded by Ella Baker, focused on the democratic principle and promoted group-centered leaders instead of Martin Luther King's leader-centered style. Ella Baker grassroots leadership is the best and more efficient because everyone will be known and every idea will be heard. Also, in the grassroots leadership, everyone will have a principled fame, while in MLK's one-man leadership, Martin Luther takes all the credit and gets all the fame. Ella Baker even once said, "Strong people don't need strong leaders."
Ella Baker's grassroots leadership is more efficient because everyone will be known and every idea will be heard. According to the book Woman in the Civil Rights Movement, it says Ella Baker embraced the notion of participatory democracy, therefore she wanted each person to get involved individually. In a grassroots leadership, everyone will have a chance to speak and represent the organization as opposed to the organizations of MLK.
Case organizations, a small group of leaders made a decision for the rest of the members, which is the opposite of Ella Baker's grassroots movement. Furthermore, Dr. Cornel West confirms the importance of Ella Baker's grassroots movement when he explains that her distrust of MLK's single-man leadership style demonstrated her love for all people and the importance of all voices.
Ella's love for people, for black people, working people, poor people, and her deep suspicions of messianic modes of leadership, the charismatic man that people submit to and defer to. She's a Democrat all the way down. She wants all the voices to be heard.
Ella Baker had spent several decades organizing to prevent the tyranny of African Americans and importantly passed on a gift and creation to the next generation. She also wanted everyone, and not just her, to be recognized as a leader to the civil rights movement. She worked as a behind-the-scenes organizer that helped every popular civil rights leaders and activists.
African American activists such as Malcolm X and MLK were one-man leaders who were popular and had a major say in some of the suggestions in protests and debates. Because Ella was known for her people-centered work, she never placed herself at the center of the movement. That is why she is not as well known, and many of you may not know about her.
Ella Baker spent 5 decades of her life protesting and fighting for the equal rights for everyone, especially African Americans. Ella Baker and others left incredible things for us. For example, they helped end segregation, tyranny, and oppression for many different people. Ella Baker herself has also left the next century with a chance to lead instead of follow. Due to Ella Baker's hard work, she was honored with a Center for Action and Strategy in Oakland, California, and a U.S. postage stamp.
Thanks to Ella Baker's passion
For grassroots organizing and her belief that strong people don't need strong leaders, people have a clear way to speak up. People can take power into their own hands. We don't need a strong leader to make change. The power is in the people coming together. And she is an inspiration to young people to be against violence and to be about justice.